Actually, IGN saves good games by giving them low scores. People get outraged, but they learn about the game because IGN still gives games wide coverage. And when they see that the game is good, they buy it and play it. Same with the bad ones. Viewers watch a review for some garbage, see that IGN gave it a high score and simply don't play it. Everyone wins. So how do you like my theory? Okay, the theory is complete garbage. What a coincidence that Simon Cardy, who mostly reviews shows like WrestleMania or The Last of Us, gave Mixtape a masterpiece. IGN needs to change not its scoring system but its fundamental approach to reviewing games. If it weren't for the IGN review, we wouldn't have known this game existed. This 2025 Summer Game Fest trailer wasn't memorable at all. It would have been a niche game and that's it. But unfortunately the game became a victim because IGN made a review of it. And you know, when I read the game review, I really want to learn about its mechanics directly. Your emotions should be the result of the described gaming experience, not your personal feelings and the nostalgia you miss so much. Not the constant repetition of your love for coming-of-age stories. There's no coming-of-age here whatsoever. At least give an example of how this story is more interesting and interactive than Henry's coming-of-age in KCD1 and KCD2. Henry still undergoes meaningful character growth across KCD1 and KCD2, even though he's already technically an adult. His arc is less about adolescence and more about gaining experience, responsibility, and a broader understanding of the world. The description of every character comes down to one sentence. Rockford herself is an aspiring Hollywood music supervisor, after which an entire paragraph is dedicated to mentioning the music in the game. Other protagonists' friends. Their main distinguishing traits are sarcasm and making sounds that are only possible when everyone feels comfortable with each other. Such a summary of the game's main characters only points to its shallowness and weak development. Almost every paragraph mentions how well the soundtrack is matched to the game. Why have I never once seen or heard about the soundtracks of other games in any other IGN review? Orchestral music is apparently too complex to evaluate, but music from the 60s, 90s is trendy and makes you intellectual. Like, is being a hipster cool again? But what about the actual gameplay? There is no interest in failed states or high score chasing here, instead prioritizing existing and enjoying the moment. And this is the only sentence in the entire review that fully describes the game's mechanics and meaning, because there's nothing more to describe. But the word count still needs feeling, so everything else is filler in the spirit of its simple mechanics match its simpler times, with each twist aiming to elicit a fresh emotion through interactivity in a way that only video games can. Yes, games can do more. Good games. And writing about how great the T-Rex reference is doesn't matter, because just like the game itself, such a review creates no sense of engagement in the reader or in the author. But it isn't just only looking towards cinema, it plays with the form, in turn becoming a mixed media wonderland of a video game. This review is trying to sell us a feeling of cuteness, to say that this game is nostalgia for the 90s, when in reality it's a fantasy about the 90s, the magical fantasy of the game's creators. IGN reviewers don't know how to talk about games, but they know how to talk about their own feelings that games evoke in them. But feelings don't sell the game, because everyone's feelings are personal and come from the described gameplay. How well the game resonates with people depends on how you describe it, not on your own feelings. Game mechanics and technical aspects don't interest IGN, because for them, those things don't fill the checklist. Mixtape is definitely not an LGBT game. I didn't see anything like that there. But breaking the fourth wall, that's the pseudo-intellectual wave that IGN will gladly latch onto and spin. That's it. That's what their reviews are built on. The attempt to pass something superficial off as high art. If they see something that resembles it, the game immediately gets a high score. Look, wearing glasses won't make you smarter. It will only help you see better or protect your eyes from redness while working at a computer. Just as writing an empty review won't make you a great game journalist, it will only help you get your paycheck. Allow me to correct this review. Mixtape is nothing other than interactive popcorn cinema. The main plot: find booze, show how the friends used to mess around, and show that the protagonist has taste in music. The game doesn't show sharp teenage drama. Stories of difficult relationships with parents are not shown. The drama between Cassandra and her parents is the kind of banality that isn't hard to make up. There is no hint of a coming-of-age story here. According to the author, each memory sequence spawns from a keepsake found around the world that smartly serves as the key to unlock cherished memories. Such flashbacks from the past don't show coming-of-age, because we're not shown the difference in the characters' personalities or the changes between past and present. And the only attempt to show a genuinely sad moment is when Slater says goodbye to Rockford's room, because he'll never be there again. The only moment in 2 hours of the game, and the whole game is about 3 hours long. This is a cute, cozy evening adventure, colorful with its own style. It's like a soft ball that won't hurt you, won't put you through a sharp plot or drama. Easy controls, surface level interactivity, no pressure on reaction speed or mental activity. And this is not a problem with the game. Sony also published games from Quantic Dream, Heavy Rain and Detroit Become Human. The main difference between those games and Mixtape is more complex technical execution in terms of the number of endings, the ability to make different decisions with consequences, and a more complex story. Therefore, such games can claim a higher score, but only if at least two aspects are evaluated: gameplay and story. Mixtape is from the same genre, but it doesn't tackle the complex coming-of-age questions that the author loved to mention. This is a popcorn adventure. It can be that, but it's certainly not a masterpiece. This story is safe. The nostalgia in this game is not nostalgia at all, but a fairy tale. And not at all true nostalgia isn't the replication of a specific place of time, but of a feeling. It's those flashes of emotion that transport us back into memories that have long sat dormant. In reality, nostalgia is an emotional state often triggered by specific places, objects, and moments in time. But what people usually long for is the feeling associated with them rather than the feelings themselves. It's not the game's fault that it's like this. It can be mediocre, average. It has its own style, beautiful animations. The game is well made. I didn't find any bugs, but it doesn't make any breakthroughs and doesn't provide a new level of interactivity. One-sided game evaluation hurts everyone, the game itself, the players. Unfortunately, making an honest and at least slightly objective game review is harder than turning an empty shell into high art and pretending to be a Biennale host. Modern games criticism increasingly mistakes shallow aesthetic presentation and surface-level emotional resonance for depth, leading into inflated scores for mechanically empty games.